What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another video here today. So today I will be just giving my advice for anybody that is new in collecting, anybody that is starting to get in the hobby, and just things that I wish I would have known. So when I first started collecting, the very first piece I bought was the KD Collectibles Goku vs. Vegeta. It was a day one pre-order for me, and I made that purchase whenever I knew I was going to get into a bigger home. So I said, I'm done with collecting the little plastic Banpresto pieces, and I wanted to move on to something that was bigger, better, and just more of my taste. And the second piece that I bought was the Skull Kid from Wake Studio, the 1/4 scale. It had the gray moon and it lit up yellow. Really awesome piece. I missed that piece dearly. And then I just started buying a bunch, but the 3 pieces that I bought after that, I definitely got ripped off. Just because I didn't do my research, I didn't know what I was looking at, I didn't know what I should have been looking for, and I bought the PCS, no, they were all Sideshow, or no, I bought the PCS Michael Myers 1/4, Sideshow The Crow, and Sideshow Freddy Krueger. I bought those 3 pieces for $2,500. Now, that is actually insane. Those pieces typically range from $450 to $600 a piece. I should have paid no more than $1,500 at the most. So that guy got a whole $1,000 out of me just because I didn't know what I was supposed to be looking for. I didn't know how to bargain, and it was technically the first 3 resin pieces that I bought for this new home. Just because I didn't know when the Skull Kid was gonna arrive. That Goku vs. Vegeta, it didn't arrive till, months and months later. And yeah, guys, so what I wanted to talk about today was do your research. If you're starting out in a hobby, do your research. And there's, lots of websites that you can buy statues from. There is Hexapus ACG. I love that website. I love those people. Dante is awesome. They also have like a separate website. It's like a newer one. It's called Nona C. And you can look these guys up on Facebook. You can follow their page. You can add them as friends or whatever. And you can get on their websites through them. And you can check out everything they have. Statue Corp is another one. They have lots and lots of pieces. Kyle is another really good one. They have lots of pieces as well. Lots of anime, alien, predator, whatever you prefer. Now, whenever it comes to buying pieces and you are not sure about prices, do your research. Ask them who the statue was made by, which company. Say like these ones are made by Prime One. You visit the Prime One website. You can look at the price that it retailed for, and then try to get as close to retail price as you can without hurting your pockets. And that would be my advice to anyone whenever you're first starting out. Don't just jump right into eBay. I would try to stay away from eBay. And if you have to go to eBay, it should be for, trying to find a super rare piece that you're really wanting. But make sure you look up that statue company name. Make sure you try to get as close to retail as possible. And if you can get it under retail, that is even better. So, pricing, that was something that I wish I would have known. I wish I would have just looked up the company. I wish I would have looked at retail prices. So that way, that guy couldn't have ripped me off so much on those first 3 statues for my horror collection. Now, another big thing is don't go crazy with this stuff. You know, it can be addicting to some people, but at the end of the day, guys, these resin statues, they're just painted rock. They're glorified painted rock. You can always sell them in times of need. You can always buy them back whenever you want to buy them back. You know, they're not gonna go anywhere. They're not gonna disappear. You can always buy these pieces back. And my advice for that is, you know, just don't collect a bunch of debt trying to buy the biggest and best pieces. You know, I bought these 3 pieces because I bought them locally, and they were at least $1,500 to $2,000 off of retail, and I bought them simply because of that reason. Now, if I were to finish this room, buy the last 3 Predators, Scar, Wolf, and Deck, that is another $9,000 to $10,000, and that's actually crazy. Now, for the alien side, there's Dog, Big Chap, and I believe they're gonna do Alien Warrior and a Pred Alien. So that's gonna run me another 10 to 12 grand. And that's just for the top shelves alone. Now for the bottom shelves, I still don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do customs. I don't know if I'm gonna do older pieces. You know, that's just another story. But my advice would be to buy something that is in your budget. Don't go crazy. Don't go collecting debt. And, you know, don't go broke. Don't go missing a mortgage payment. Don't miss your rent just to pay one of these things off. You know what I mean? Just do what you can afford. And the lovely thing about statue collecting is there's lots of different scales to these. So these are 1/3 XL, and technically they are about half scale. So compared to my hand, you know what I mean? Like this guy's hand is about half the size of my hand. He's technically half scale. These pieces are technically half scale. And that's why these ones cost so much. They cost so much because of the license that they had to buy in order to produce these pieces and get the correct sculpts, and simply due to the freaking size of them. Now, if you don't have a super abundance of, you know, money, and you want to, you know, buy pieces in a smaller scale, you could absolutely do that. It's all up to you and what your preference is and how much space you have to work with. There's 1/4 scale, which is smaller than these guys. There's 1/6 scale, which is even smaller than that. And then if you don't have a lot of money or don't have a lot of room and you like to pose your collectibles, there's always the Hot Toys line. Now, some of them can get a little pricey, but they are very, very detailed. It's literally like these pieces, if you shrunk them down into a 1/6 scale character that you could pose however you want. That's the best thing about those ones. And if you know, just have like a little glass shelf that maybe take up, you know, 60 inches of your room, and, you know, top to bottom, it could be, you know, up to the top of one of those posters, you can fill that up and have a really badass collection. So the best part about collecting statues is there's lots of different things. So I will take you guys into the Dragon Ball room, and there will be a little bit more that we could talk about in there. All right, so these are 1/4 scale pieces. They typically run from $8.99 to $1,300 plus shipping. Drastically cheaper than the Prime 1 Alien and Predator pieces. So these are really awesome. They're more budget friendly. You can buy more. You won't go broke if you have the means for it. Now the best part about these is, excuse me, most of the time there is an option to buy a 1/4 scale or a 1/6 scale. And that's always a really good thing. So this piece here was $525 shipped for the 1/4 scale. I think it was like $300, $350 for the 1/6 scale with shipping included. So that is really cool. This one is exclusive to 1/4 scale. This one, Katie just remade, and they are doing this one in 1/6 scale. So I think he's doing 1/6 scale in a lot of these newer dioramas that he's coming out with, and it's just really nice to have, you know. If you don't want to miss out on these really cool pieces and you don't have a lot of space or a lot of money, you could always pick the smaller scale and go with that. It'll save you some money, it'll save you some space. Or if you have a lot of space and you want to do 1/6 scale, you can do lots of pieces, lots of them. Now, the Hot Toys equivalent to Dragon Ball or Naruto is the SH Figuarts. Those are cheaper. They typically run from like $30 at like Target or Walmart, and depending on the rarity of some of them and stuff like that, they can go up to $200, but you can pose them how you want. You can make a diorama how you want, and there's lots of cool things that you can do with those. Now, if you don't have the money for any of that stuff, but you want to start collecting, you could always buy like the little Banpresto plastic figures. This probably isn't the best example. I have more on my game desk, which I can go to in just a second. But yeah, guys, what I wish I would have known is to do my research on these stuff. I wish I would have known a lot more, and I've had to sell my collection off twice. My entire collection, I've had to sell it off twice. And you know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, but you can always buy this stuff back. This is just glorified painted rock. It's resin. It's painted resin. They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to disappear off the face of the earth. You can always sell this stuff, get your money back, you know, handle your situation, handle the things in your personal life. And then when you can, and you can afford it, you know, you can buy them back. Or you can buy different ones and switch it up. You know, there's really no need to be super addicted to this stuff, as long as you know your limit. And you know, there's really good things about this hobby. And for one, I've made some of the coolest friends that I could have ever imagined. There's so many people that I could sit and talk to for hours about this stuff. There's really nice people in this hobby. There's some of the coolest friends I ever made in this hobby. There's some of the most supportive, you know what I mean? They're so genuine, and yeah, I'm super grateful and super happy about the people that I've met through this hobby, and you know, I wouldn't change it for a thing. And I just wish everybody could, you know, just get along and, you know, not try and be a scalper, or, you know, really don't go into debt on these things, guys. That's all that I'm really trying to say. But there's lots of good things that come with this hobby, and there's lots of stuff that I wish I would have known. But the biggest one is just to know what you're buying. Do a little bit of research, so that way you don't get screwed over in the end. Now, yeah, just for example, I'm just gonna cut this video a little bit short. It is a little bit longer than my other ones, but yes. For the most part, these Banpresto little plastic figures or the Ichiban Kuji, you could always buy these ones if you don't have a crazy amount of room or you don't have a bunch of money. You can buy this stuff at the mall. You can buy them in Hot Topics. You can buy them at Box Lunch. You could even find them at Ross for discounts, really big discounts. Now, this one technically is like a bootleg. I bought it like $5. You can go on AliExpress. You can spend tons of money. And I'm not saying, you know, just go buy a bunch of bootlegs, but there are some really, really cool pieces that you can buy super cheap. Yes, they are bootleg. They're not licensed, but they're really badass sometimes. And they're super cheap, they're super budget friendly, and if you don't have, you know, the means to spend a whole lot of money on big resin statues, or you don't have the money for SH Figuarts, it's always best to just start with these Banpresto figures and, you know, really just get, you know, just an idea of how this collecting stuff works. Now, the resale value on these things, they're not the best, they're not the greatest, and you know, you won't always get all of your money back, but you know, that's just how the hobby is today, even with resin statues. You know, there's some pieces that you won't always get your money back. You won't always, you know, break even, or, you know, even, I wouldn't say go for a profit on some of them, but yeah, all I'm trying to say is there's affordable ways to collect what you want. You know what I mean? There's lots of figures out there. You can buy these little plastic ones, Hot Toys, SH Figuarts if you're into the anime, or you can go with the small scale resin, go with 1/6 scale. If you have a little bit of money, get space, you go with 1/4 scale. If you like bigger and better and you can afford it, go with 1/3. You know, that's technically all up to you, but my biggest advice is just to, you know, do your research when it comes to these pieces. Find out which company made the piece. Look at retail prices. Don't get ripped off. And always, guys, always, whenever you're dealing with somebody outside of a company or on Facebook, always use PayPal goods and services. Your money will be protected, or use, you know, a protected way of paying, but that is the most preferred way. Do not get ripped off. Don't go crazy, and just play it smart. So, sorry for the long video, guys. Sorry if I repeated anything. Comment what you think I may have missed in, you know, what I was talking about in this video. You know, just let me know what your guys' opinions are, what you wish you would have known in starting collecting, and just give me your thoughts and opinions on what else I should talk about. But for the most part, guys, it's a really nice hobby. It could be fun. You meet lots of great people, and I hope everybody enjoys it no matter what you buy. And if you have a channel, comment under my video, and I love to follow new people. I love to see new channels. I love to see new collections, see different people's opinions on everything, and I just love seeing everybody else be happy. But other than that, guys, I think I covered everything on what my advice would be to new collectors and everybody that is just joining the hobby. So if you did watch all the way to the end, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you coming to support and watch my video entirely. And I hope this gets out to somebody that may want to start collecting, and they will know the right thing to do. So with that being said, guys, new Dragon Ball piece coming in, and Gogeta vs Janemba should be shipping at the end of next month, I believe. So hopefully I can give you guys reviews on something, and hopefully I can figure out a topic for a new video before then. But other than that, guys, I really appreciate everything that you guys do for my channel. I know I don't get a lot of views, but people that do watch, I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your support. I appreciate your guys' opinions on everything. And with that being said, we will see you guys in the next video. I hope you all have a blessed day, have a blessed week, and we will see you next time. Take care.